Welcome to Selling Tri-Cities, where we are selling more than homes. This project was created to share our love and passion for this beautiful part of the country that we are lucky enough to call home. We want to showcase the small businesses, the entrepreneurs, and the beauty that makes the Appalachian Highlands one of the most desirable markets in the nation. But most importantly, we want to introduce you to the people that make this area such a wonderful place to live. So join us as we sell you on our love for the Tri-Cities. Hello and welcome to another episode of Selling Tri-Cities with your co-hosts Gregg Pechmann and Aubrey Keller. Today we are lucky enough to have a friend of mine, Sarah Barnett, here with us. She is the owner of Simply Sorted. She is a professional organizer. So we're really excited to have her with us today, kind of talk about the services that she can provide and really just spring cleaning and organizing, tips and tricks, all the wonderful things. So you have a really cool kind of like background. So kind of talk to me a little bit about how you got into this. Like, why professional organizing? I am not an organizer whatsoever. The thought gives me anxiety, so it's definitely made for specific people.
Definitely.
So how did you stumble upon professional organizing?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because growing up I was known as like the messy one. My sister still to this day is like, you have an organizing company? Like, hold on a second, because my sister is very, and has been her whole life, very, very organized, high level, everything is picture perfect, clean, 24/7 in her house. I didn't really get into it until I started living on my own and just wanting to have like a nice atmosphere to live in. And that's not going to say that like my drawers or my closet, what behind the door wasn't messy, but overall, it's just more so about having like a clean environment that you're in. And so I moved to Portland, Oregon about 10 years ago and actually was working in the outdoor apparel industry for a big corporation out there, designing clothes. That's what my degree was in. I had no expertise or experience in organizing, and then they shut down our Portland office, and I kind of had a moment in time to like step back, be like, what do I want to do with my life? Because it was not going back to an office, working a 9 to 5, no shame in that lifestyle, but it just was not for me. I actually went through a yoga training course, and at the same time, that's when I found this franchise company that was hiring in Portland. It like perfectly aligned with when I was ready to go back to work. She was hiring, and she hired me as like a contract worker, so it was awesome. I could work when I wanted to. I could just do one job a month. And so, yeah, I was there for 3 years right before we moved, and was super busy and kind of just fell in love with the whole process and was like, I'm going to start my own company when I get back to Tennessee.
You've done some like really big jobs.
Yes, very high-end
Especially
clients out in Portland. You know, with Nike being based out there, Adidas has their U.S. headquarters out there, Intel's out there, the NBA. We've done some really, really cool big jobs, and it was definitely more like high-end luxury, like you're going for the overall aesthetic and look. People were willing to pay for that. So it was definitely more of like a high-end luxury organizing.
So you guys moved back here. Your family moved back here. You're from here, but you moved back to the Tri-Cities, and you decided to start your own business. How has that been?
Well, it's been hard. I knew it would be. Before I left Portland, though, I was like, okay, this is something I know I can do on my own. I have my family and my support here. I grew up here. My dad is here. My Nana, like they know everybody. They can help me with like word of mouth, get my name out there. So I knew coming back here, I could easily get this up and going. But we had a baby at the end, like last almost a year ago, which is crazy. So came home, had the baby. And then in about September, I launched, I started kind of putting the pieces together, getting my business license, getting my Instagram, Facebook, kind of all of that stuff. In the middle of having a new baby, I would kind of like work, as you know, with babies, you just do stuff when you can, whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning or when she's sleeping. And it was kind of just like, I'm gonna start this company and see what happens, you know? It's a really niche thing for sure. Not a lot of people even know that this is a job that people do. I get asked a lot.
I'm so glad you do it.
After this taping, she's got to look at my closet and look at that room over there. It's absolutely.
Don't let me go wild in your house because I'll start organizing.
But she came, so she just finished my pantry. I actually have a really good sized
It's
pantry,
nice. Yeah.
but because it's pretty large, it can be you get cluttered very easily.
And
So,
just overwhelming.
yeah, so she came in and saved my life. But when I was talking about closets or something, she's like, "Can I see your closet?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I want to go see
It's like, "No, you cannot." Maybe another time.
So starting this business, what was the hardest part about it? I mean, obviously, any small business can start. Plus, you had a baby.
Yeah.
On top of that, so
Yeah.
talk about that. How that all.
I mean, just kind of in the back of my head, just like the doubt, or just being like, what if this doesn't succeed? I do a couple of different things besides going home organizing, but this I put really, I knew before I left Oregon, I'm going to have this baby, and then this is going to be my main passion and goal. I'm not going to worry about teaching yoga anymore. I'm not going to kind of let everything else fall to the side while I focused on this. And really, just the hardest part for me is getting my name out there.
Yep.
Obviously being a small business and with Johnson City booming right now, so many people moving here.
Sure.
It's like, how do I do this? Because I've always worked for I worked at Columbia Sportswear, they have massive marketing teams.
Sure.
People that just do this for you. I didn't even have to think about it at my previous jobs and stuff.
Yep.
And so that has been the hardest part. But it's things like this and just kind of tapping back into my network and the people that I know here. I had no idea. I know her brother pretty well, Alex, and I didn't even know Aubrey was doing real estate or this or anything like that. You know what I mean? So,
Gotcha.
I have to just tap back into your people.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time, especially when you moving back here, restarting again.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience when I moved back here in 2016, kind of restarting everything, going through everything. So it takes some time to ramp up and, and then throw a baby in there. I mean, I can't imagine.
First time being, a mom, that is a huge, overwhelming task. But that's why I love this job, is because I can decide how much I want to take on. And, right now people are okay with waiting. If I'm I can't get to you till mid-March, they're like, that's fine, because it is a very overwhelming process.
But speaking of moving, I know those are people that you can help, right? So
definitely
talk to us a little bit about the services that you provide. Because I know it's different. People think organizer, come help me organize my playroom, but there's so many things that you can do to help people that I think most people aren't even aware of.
Exactly. And the moving, honestly, I had a lot of practice towards the end of my experience in Portland with the company I was working for, because so many people were leaving Portland. And
I wonder why.
for various reasons.
That's another show.
A whole other segment.
That's a whole other show. Sorry.
Stay tuned for next week's episode.
Why move out for it?
Why move back to Tennessee? But so moving is crazy. I grew up here. I moved to New York City. I moved back to Tennessee, and then I moved to Oregon, and then I moved back to Tennessee. So I've moved
So Tennessee's where you're gonna be, right?
a lot.
Okay.
Yes, Tennessee is where me and my husband both want to stay. We have roots here. We live on a beautiful farm out in Jonesboro with my family. We're not going anywhere. We're so happy to be back here.
Great.
But moving, we've all done it, even if it's from here to there or across the country. It is so stressful. You start to do it and you're just I'm running out of time. And it's really, really stressful. So what ends up happening is people just throw a bunch of stuff into a box, half of it breaks before they get to their new house. And then they're in their new space and they're frustrated. They're kind of, and you don't, to me, again, it all comes back to the energy that you're creating and carrying around. You don't want to start your new chapter in your new house, being frustrated because you have all this stuff you don't need. So the moving aspect is great because we do the hard work before the move and the pack actually happens. So that way when you get to your new house, you're only unpacking things that you 100% know you're going to use. You've gotten rid of trash, duplicates of stuff. But moving, and I kind of will manage the whole aspect where it's if you need me to hire physical movers, get the boxes, get the tape, label. I mean, I can do it all.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That's something that everybody needs.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah.
So, and it's so different when it's not your stuff. For me to even be able to come into your pantry, it's just I kind of zone out and I just get in the flow of stuff, and it's actually kind of therapeutic.
So tell me what exactly was in her pantry. No, I'm just kidding.
We already talked before we started filming about how many bins labeled chocolate I have. walk into the pantry, there's like bins, and it's like chocolate, more chocolate, more chocolate.
I bet the chocolate in your freezer.
Letters, more chocolate.
The chocolate in your freezer you told me about too. So
the backstop chocolate.
It's mostly dark.
It's healthy chocolate.
It's healthy chocolate. Yeah, but I was a little bit overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had so much chocolate.
That's the beauty of organizing. You're like, wow.
I'm trying to myself like not eating a lot of sweets, but obviously.
So do you when you go into somebody's closet, right?
Yeah.
I don't want you to see my closet yet, but when you go into somebody's closet, right? Do you say, okay, tell me like what you want to do with this? Have you used this stuff in the last year or 2 years? If not, get rid of it. Because I've heard things where you put a sticky note on. If you haven't touched it in a year, get rid of it.
That's a good, because that's what you are trying to accomplish, is just getting rid of stuff that you don't need. And a lot of us, all of us have stuff that we're not using, no matter if it's in your garage, your kitchen, whatever, your office. So the process is the same no matter what room I'm organizing. And I just have done playrooms, garages, basements, attics, nurseries, like any and every space I have done it in the house. But you really start with taking everything out. And really the client is not doing, that's why they're hiring me. I'm doing all the heavy lifting, and I prefer the client to actually not be there, because they start to get really overwhelmed. Wait, they start to be like, oh, this, and they have stories about it, because it's their stuff, they're attached to stuff. Yeah, and I'm like, this is taking like 4 more hours than it should. But, and I get it, it's really hard for some people to come in and let a person they may know or may not really know, like, touch all their stuff. Like, I definitely get that. But I pull everything out, and then I like high-end categorize stuff. So if I'm in your closet, I would do like t-shirts, sweatshirts, loungewear, athletic wear. I high-level section and kind of categorize everything for you. Then I bring the client in, and I warn them, I'm like, the process is messy, so don't be overwhelmed, because you will, like, sometimes they walk in and they're like, oh my gosh,
what have you done?
Crazy, and they're kind of overwhelmed. So I let them know, like, it is going to look a little crazy, but when I'm done, it's going to look amazing. And then from there, that's when that is the chance for the client to be like, I don't want that, or I need to try this stuff on. And then I really, really try to not throw anything away. That's like a huge thing for me, is like recycling, donating stuff. I take all of that away so the client doesn't have to worry about that. And then I make it look really pretty and organized and labeled. So.
It was wonderful that you took everything like away.
Yeah.
I mean, like the trash, I didn't have to do anything.
I don't want you to have to think about anything. That's why I come in and literally do all the heavy lifting.
She was like, there goes my chocolate.
And meanwhile,
she's like, it expired in 2020, Aubrey. It expired in 2020. And you got 17 more.
It's got green mold on it, Aubrey.
We got backstock. We got backstock baskets.
More in the freezer. But no, I did love like the process, like throughout, just like how easy it was. I didn't have to be there, or I could be there. We talked through things. So I definitely enjoyed it. Let's talk about spring cleaning, right? Because we're going into spring, and everybody's going to get into the clean and organized purge mode. So for people who maybe want to take on some of these, like maybe smaller organizing tasks, or whatever it is, maybe they want to take it all on by themselves. What are some tips and tricks that you can share? I know we kind of just talked a little bit about the closet situation. I still think I would need to have somebody come in and slap my hand and be like, oh,
get out for 5 hours. Don't come back.
I mean, it's so difficult when it is your stuff. Like you are attached to these things. Like we all do. We all hold on to shirts and stuff that we haven't worn in forever because we have a memory attached to it and stuff. But again, like for spring cleaning, really any kind of tips and tricks for organizing is just pick, like, if you're gonna do it by yourself and not hire a professional person to help you, just start small so you don't get overwhelmed, because the worst thing is when you start you're like, I'm gonna do my office. Okay, well then you're gonna get everything out, and then you're gonna have it into like your living room or your other room, and the next thing you know, you just don't even kind of know where to go. So I always say just like start small. Start with a couple drawers or a closet, and then pull everything out and just give yourself time, because it is a lengthy process and you don't want to rush through it. And then I will always say, like, triple check measurements. Like everybody's like, oh, I have this closet and I want it to look like this. And then they go to the store, buy all these bins, get certain things, and then they come home, and then they're like, oh, it doesn't work.
So when somebody hires you, I know each place is different and stuff. Let's just talk about normal, like closet space and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How long are you looking, like time frame does that usually take? And I know each one's different, but roughly.
Yeah, I mean, I've done like giant closets that are the size of this room even, and I can do it even in just a couple of days. Like with Aubrey's pantry right now, it's just me. I do have friends and some people that I can bring on if it's like a huge job, or if somebody wants their whole house done within like a certain time frame. But right now with it just being me, like I work fast and I'm kind of like in the zone, and I'm in and I'm out, and you know, I value my time and the client's time. I don't want to waste any time, and but yeah, normally I can get stuff done relatively quick.
So Aubrey's took about a week.
I was there a day and a half, but we're waiting on product to be delivered.
So what does that process look like though? Because it's different, right? So people think that you might just come over and then just organize it like in one day and leave. That's not the case.
No, not it. And you know, I might not be for everybody, and that is 100% okay. Like the service that I provide, you know, I definitely have more of a goal of like making it look really, really good. Like the aesthetic of it, just because that's kind of what my experience is in, was it's like, these people, they didn't want it just decluttered. They wanted it to look really nice, and that's what I'm intending on doing here. So that's when like all the product comes into play and all of that stuff, and like knowing where to get stuff that is good quality. But pretty much if somebody is interested, I've had people reach out to me on Instagram, just straight up into my DMs before, or you can call. I have a website people can go on and reach out to me to request a consultation. That's the first step. So I have to come and kind of see the space, understand if it's a task that I can do, see if it's a good fit for me and the client, and then I kind of look at the space, talk to the client, see what is your goal, like what is your vision for this space, because it's your house, it's your space at the end of the day that you have to live with. I do a 30-minute consultation, and then I send an estimate through, so you can kind of get a ballpark range of how much it'll cost. And then we sign a contract, we get dates on the books, I come and I organize it.
So, but a lot of times you'll come in, like with my pantry, so you, the first day I was doing the consultation, the first day you came in, and like you said, you pulled everything out, and I like turned, I was working from home, and like I turned around, and like every counter space was full, and I have a relatively large kitchen, but every counter space was full, and she's like, just turn around, Aubrey.
Don't look, I promise.
Just walk away.
She's like, it's gonna look really good when it's done. I was like, I trust you. But you came in, we went through things, what we liked, and we took out everything that was like expired, and we walked through everything, and then you said, all right, so this is what I was thinking, and you put stuff back in its spot where you might see it, or you talk to me about what I use the most, what I wanted to like donate, what was trash, and so we kind of went through that together. Then you took your measurements, and then we kind of like discussed, we discussed product. And then you went and you found the products and came back like another day. So it is kind of like a, you know.
It's definitely a 2-day, even if it's something small, like I still have to always have some sort of product for the most part, no matter if it's even just like a little insert into a drawer or something, you know. And there are good places to get product here, but a lot of the times I do order. So that kind of, as you know, now we're right now waiting for label clips for you, like little things like that can happen. But it's also good, that gives you and the client time to kind of like sit with what I've done. Because I come in, and again, like with her having kids and them being at the age they are, they want to be involved. They want to be able to have stuff at their level and like in the pantry where they can grab it. And so I bring stuff down to their level, or
if they don't away from their level, I take it up. Like that candy. It goes up to the top.
So yeah, the whole process, like I said, no matter what kind of space I'm in, it's all kind of the same. And it's once you do one space, you want like your whole house done. So it's kind of contagious.
It is very. I'm already like, I'm gonna let you into my closet. Really, you do so services. We'll just kind of like recap. You can do anything in the home.
Anything in the home.
You can do moving services, which I think is just absolutely phenomenal. And as a realtor, I'm really excited about that. I just think that, like you said, starting when you move to a new home, that is, people always say that packing is the hardest, and I always tell my clients, like, brace yourself. Unpacking is actually harder because everything had a spot. in this house.
Yeah,
But
now
now
you
you're
have
moving
to-
it to this house. And so that picture or that thing that you had might not fit.
Yeah.
And the way that you had your kitchen organized here
Won't work.
is not going to be the same
Yeah.
in this one.
Yeah.
So being able to have somebody come in and help, like with
Oh, definitely.
almost like with take that
Uh-huh.
stress
Uh-huh.
away.
Yeah.
It's huge. So you can just enjoy like
Yeah.
this new chapter in the start.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah.
And you guys do you like commercial and office space? Like if there
Yep.
are offices who want
Yep.
to bring you
We've
in to
done
help.
offices, people's businesses, doctors' offices, and even like a training facility out in Portland. So
Yeah.
that was
That's awesome. So you
Yeah.
can do it all.
do it all.
Awesome. So if they wanted to contact you, I know you said the website. What
Yeah.
is the website?
It's simplysortedco.com.
Okay.
That's also my Instagram is Simply Sorted Co. Facebook, and if you're in the local area, you can always just even if you're not in the local area, we have done virtual like organizing. It's a little more tricky to do, but pretty much targeting everybody in like the Tri-Cities area. They can even just get on my website and call me. Reach out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Thanks for having
very
me.
much
Yeah,
for coming
happy
and
to be here.
talking. I'm really excited to kind of like showcase your business and you as a person.
Thank you.
I just adore
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
And just excited for what you're going to bring to the area. Because like you said, there's just not enough, I
Yeah.
think, of this industry,
Right.
professionals in this industry to really help.
Right.
So I'm excited for you to
I'm
be
happy
here.
to be here.
And stay tuned next week from the episode of Selling Tri-Cities, where we are selling more than homes. Ciao. My favorite color is green. What's yours?
I don't slip up. I do sometimes. I will try not to drop any F-bombs.
No bombs.
Sometimes I
It's okay.
I'm just kidding. No.
If you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur and would like your business highlighted, please call 423-741-2564 or email aubrey.tellerico85@gmail.com. We would love to showcase your business.